There's a saying in the ancient world that all roads lead to Rome. And with our expanded view of the planet and with the galaxy and the universe, that whole statement seems rather small. It might seem more appropriate to say that all roads lead home to source. That's how the truth is for me anyway, these days. Everything that I experience in life is constantly pointing me home to source. On a superficial level, when we talk about home, on not a superficial level, but a human level. When we think about home, we may think of security, a place, a safe place of warmth and connection with each other. And on another level, we may feel home is a moment in time, perhaps, when we are seen by our dear ones in our lives, where we have a voice, where we stand in our power at one point or many points along our path, and we speak our truth, because we all want to be seen, we all want to be appreciated and known. Anybody in the room today feel like at points in their life they haven't been seen or known or appreciated? How many hands? Most of us here. And so this process that we are all in is one of increasingly coming home to ourselves. On another level, coming home is about coming home and making union with ourselves in the here and now. That all roads lead to the self. Sometimes people say, when I mention that, they say, well, that's kind of selfish. But when we stand within the truth of being of the self, that is not being pulled here and there, when we stand in our own power of being, then we are the most powerful custodians and servants of light to lend a hand, to uplift others in our lives. And that's really what this teaching is all about. Unity is part of the universal truth that has been on the planet, in the planet, through all time and space forever. And it is ours to come back into an alignment with that divine remembrance of who it is that we are. Over the years, I've had hundreds of people, friends, that have been in my life for a reason or a season or a lifetime, that have reminded me to stay the course. I wanted to share something with you today from Mark Nepo's book, since we are addressing friendship today. This book is a beautiful book. It's called More Together Than Alone. He's coming here later this month. And I wanted to just share a few words that he writes about being together in spiritual community, as friends, and as people that care about each other. This offering is entitled, We Can Find Each Other. He writes, time and again we're asked to discover through love and suffering that we are at heart the same. How do we come to this knowledge in our lives, in our families, and in our communities? What brings us together and what throws us apart? How do we inhabit what we have in common, as well as what makes us unique in ways that deepen our daily practice of service and compassion? The back and forth struggle between solitude and community is an archetypal passage. Being alone and being together, each has its lineage. There are countless stories of those who have shunned the world for the depth of their own journey, be they contemplatives, monks, or hermits. And then there are the countless stories of those who have given up who they are for the common good. The word community derives from the Latin "commun," meaning common. The same root informs the word communicate, to share our understanding and to have understanding in common. It's not by chance that the word community contains unity. Our possibility is rooted in the very word. I remember back when I was a teenager in the 1970s, watching public broadcasting. I think it was a Thursday night. And there was a man that was predominant within the whole scene of healing. This is just before John Bradshaw. A man named Leo Buscaglia. Remember him? And I remember my mother saying, "Bruce, come on out here and watch this with me. This is an important contribution." Dr. Leo Buscaglia was a professor at the University of Southern California. And he used to be called Dr. Love, because he would get up in front of people and create a space and hold a space for literally hundreds of people that were yearning and crying out for a deep sense of connection and love. And he would talk about his mother, an Italian mother who made all kinds of wonderful food for the family, and there'd be people coming over, and he was just so demonstrative of being in love with people. And I remember one story. He said he was on the campus of USC and he was walking along a trail from one department to the next. And there was this beautiful woman that was walking in the opposite direction, and they passed each other. And he said, "Oh, you have such beautiful hair." She didn't know him. And she said, "Do I know you?" And he said, "No, but wouldn't you love to?" So this man worked on another level. He knew the importance of connecting, of going beyond the social norms, staying loosely with them, not scaring anybody, but inviting people to be with each other on another level. He said, "A single rose can be my garden, a single friend, my world." And we all have this capacity to love one another deeply. And I remember at the end of his programs that he would say, "I'm standing here waiting for you to come up and give me a hug." Literally hundreds of people waited until they had a Leo Buscaglia hug. Friendship. Speaking of my mother, who's 91 now, she was sitting in a restaurant in California called the Nut Tree, Central Valley, almond country. But she was sitting waiting for a table, and all of a sudden the elevator opened and Leo Buscaglia walked out of the elevator, and she saw him and he saw her. And there was no qualification. She simply got up and ran up to him and embraced him. And he the same for her. A long, long hug. It was understood that that's just the way people are, or should be. And she was so fulfilled through that. So fulfilled. So friendship, there's a creativity in friendship, and sometimes our friends don't respond to us like we would like. It's kind of a give and take flow. Someone named Simon Sinek said, "The strong bond of friendship is not always a balanced equation. Friendship is not always about giving and taking in equal shares. Instead, friendship is grounded in a feeling that you know exactly who will be there for you when you need something, no matter what or when." And on a spiritual level, it feels like that with our relationship with God at times too. My premise, though, or my assertion today is that God or Spirit is the constant in our lives. It is we who change in terms of our concept of God. Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of the Unity Movement, said that our concept of God is the single most important factor of our whole life experience. For at any given moment, it is determining our very next experience in the outer. Our concept of God. So if we have a concept of God that is a tribal, Old Testament God, that is a judge, that vacillates between good and bad, right and wrong, then we will have an approach to life that way. We will continue to be evaluating ourselves and others from that standpoint. But if we have moments of quiet where we truly cultivate a feeling of presence, and it does take effort. Calming this to get here is an effort. It is a daily practice. But if we come to that place where we choose and we decide that that's how we're going to live the rest of our lives, that we want to have a friendship with God, then we will make the effort. And it really isn't that big of a climb. It is simply about a letting go of a concept of God and a concept of ourselves of separation, like I did on my back deck. The voice within simply said, "Stay close to me, and I will stay close to you." It waited. It waited for me to be still enough so that its friendship could show up for my peace, my inner peace. Where I was disturbed prior to that moment, I then came into deep peace, and I went back to bed and slept for 2 hours, feeling very, very centered and good. So this whole conversation that we have from week to week is about divine remembrance. And I want to relate a small story that brings home this whole truth so clearly. My niece, who is now 25, when she was 4 years old, my mother picked her up and walked her along the hallway in my mother's home. And there, along the walls, are all the pictures of family. And my mother, holding Sierra in her arms, pointed to one picture on the wall and said, "That's your Grandpa Wayne. That's my father. He would be so proud of you." And Sierra said, with complete innocence and no sense of indoctrination of religiosity and on any level, she said, "Oh, yes, I knew him before I came. I knew him before I came." What does that say? To me, that says that there is life before life, this life, and there is life afterwards. That friendship remains. Friendship moves with us throughout the ages with people that are dear and near to us. That we don't walk alone. The image of the poem, the Footsteps poem, where there were two sets of footprints and then there was only one. And the one set was when we were having the most difficulty and when we were carried by God. If there's anything that I yearn for in this life, is to be an instrument of that remembering for us, so that we don't suffer so much. In Buddhism, it's all about decreasing suffering, right? In Christianity, it's about decreasing suffering through compassion, through the practice of love. All the major religions of the world, if they are staying close to the core of the heart, are about divine remembrance of the self and of God. Where did that go? It was oh, here it is. Saint Teresa of Avila, she stated, "For prayer is nothing else than being on terms of friendship with God." Prayer is nothing else than being on terms of friendship with God. So, back in the mid-70s, I was at Unity Village, and there was a man there named James Dillett Freeman. He is the poet laureate of Unity, or was, passed in 2003. But in 1947, he wrote, I don't know if it's a poem, but it's prose, about friendship with God. And I would like to share it with you. It's a little bit long, but worth it. It's entitled, "I Am There." Do you need me? I am there. You cannot see me, yet I am the light you see by. You cannot hear me, yet I speak through your voice. You cannot feel me, yet I am the power at work in your hands. I am at work, though you do not understand my ways. I am at work, though you do not understand my works. I am not strange visions. I am not mysteries. Only in absolute stillness beyond self can you know me as I am, and then only as a feeling and a faith. Yet I am here. Yet I hear. Yet I answer. When you need me, I am there. Even if you deny me, I am there. Even when you feel most alone, I am there. Even in your fears, I am there. Even in your pain, I am there. I am there when you pray and when you do not pray. I am in you, and you are in me. Only in your mind can you feel separate from me, for only in your mind are the mists of yours and mine. Yet only with your mind can you know me and experience me. Empty your heart of empty fears. When you get yourself out of the way, I am there. You can of yourself do nothing, but I can do all. And I am in all. Though you may not see the good, good is there, for I am there. I am there because I have to be, because I am. Only in me does the world have meaning. Only out of me does the world take form. Only because of me does the world go forward. I am the law on which the movement of the stars and the growth of living cells are founded. I am the love that is the law's fulfilling. I am assurance. I am peace. I am oneness. I am the law that you can live by. I am the love that you can cling to. I am your assurance. I am your peace. I am one with you. I am. Though you fail to find me, I do not fail you. Though your faith in me is unsure, my faith in you never wavers, because I know you, because I love you, because I am there. A copy of this poem was taken to the moon in 1971 and left on that planetary body. So on Friendship Sunday, what can we do? How can we show up when we go downstairs and have some delicious soup and pie, and the soup made by Ross Bierman, who dedicated many hours, an act of friendship. So what can we do? My invitation to all of us, including me, is to extend yourself to somebody that you haven't met yet, even if that's uncomfortable for you. Reach out. Extend a hand of goodwill and love. Make a new friend. That's what this work is all about. Fellowship, truth, and being alive. Because that's what it's all about. Friendship. Thank you.